Why hello folks! Thanks to the latest updates to the game, there is actually good reason to make an updated guide for how to farm for Axi Relics. Typically when you're a new to intermediate player, Axi Relics are fairly hard to come by, and you don't really have the tools to farm for them efficiently. But nowadays, there are actually a lot of ways for a pretty new player to still get their hands on Axi Relics fairly easily if you know how. So a caveat for this video is that these are not the only way of farming Axi Relics. There are many other ways of getting them as well, besides the ones I'm going to show you here, but I am going to demonstrate to you what the most efficient ways of farming Axi Relics are. And I'm going to show you the most efficient way for beginners to farm Axi Relics, the most efficient way for intermediate players to farm Axi Relics, and the most efficient way for endgame players to farm Axi Relics. Now let's start with beginners. And the reason why I'm making this video is because with the latest update to the game, Citrin's Last Wish, they have added a new mission type on Mars called Mirror Defense here on Tiana Pass. And this is by far the lowest level mission in the game where you can consistently farm Axi Relics. The way the mission works is that you have to defend an objective, and then after the wave is done, you have to transfer to a different area where you have to defend another objective, and you just jump back and forth between these two areas. You also have to run around and collect crystal fragments that spawn around the map when you kill enemies. Typically, the comps for running these missions are that you have two people who are focused on killing enemies and defending the objective, in this case, me as an Equinox and another player as a Gara. And two players running speed frames, and all they do is just run around and pick up as many crystal fragments as they can. So if you are a new player and you feel like you can't really contribute the damage numbers to this mission, do not fret. If you just run around and pick up crystal fragments, and that's all you do, you are contributing to the mission, you are being helpful, and people are going to appreciate that you are there. Just let the veterans kill the enemies, and just run around, pick up crystal fragments, and you're all good. This mission is also a place where you farm for Citrin, and for two weapons, the Stephalos and the Chorufel, and a couple of new arcanes. So, it won't just award you Axi Relics, it will also award you other goodies that you probably want. But Axi Relics are in the drop table, and this mission follows the classic AABC rotation that most missions in Warframe do. And you get a reward for every 2 waves of defense. So, after 2 waves, you get a reward from the A pool. After another 2 waves, you get another reward from the A pool. After another 2 waves, you get a reward from the B pool, and after another 2 waves, that is 8 waves in total, you get a reward from the C pool. And the C pool has 7 different Axi Relics, all with a 7.9% drop chance, meaning that you have, in total, a 55% chance of getting an Axi Relic at the 8 wave mark, which typically takes about 20 minutes. Now, I'm pointing out this method not because it's the easiest, because it's not, but it is the earliest. It is by far the earliest point in the game where you can farm for Axi Relics. Another good method besides Mirror Defense is running Railjack Voidstorm missions. The high-level Voidstorm missions, typically the ones where you open Axi Relics, also have Axi Relics in the reward pool. And not just Axi Relics, but upgraded Radiant Relics in the reward pool. Which is great, because that means you won't have to spend any Void Traces to upgrade them yourself. Now, what's good about this is that these missions typically go 1 for 1. You spend one of your Axi Relics to play the mission, but then you often get another Axi Relic back in the end, so you can just keep on running these missions back to back. These missions are also excellent for simply farming a little bit of everything. At the end of the mission, you are awarded tons of credits, hundreds of thousands. Thousands of endo, lots of resources. You can farm for Sevagoth, you can farm for certain weapons like the Carmine Penta. You just get so many things thrown at you at the end of every mission that for an intermediate player who is still in the grind, these are excellent farming spots for simply giving you a little bit of everything while also farming for Axi Relics. An even better way of farming for Axi Relics besides that is simply by opening Relic Packs. Every Relic Pack costs 20,000 standing, offering you 3 random relics that can be all the way up to the Axi rarity. You can farm for Relic Packs by joining a syndicate and simply earning syndicate standing to purchase Relic Packs from the syndicate stores. They have also added Relic Packs to the vendors in the open world. Old Man Sumbat in Cetus, Smokefinger in Fortuna, and Otak in Necrolisk. So if you have spare syndicate standing from the open worlds, you can also spend those on Relic Packs. If you are a high level player, you can also spend Steel Essence from playing Steel Path in Teshin's store, in the relays, to buy Relic Packs, although they are currently capped at 25 packs per week. The next really good way of obtaining Axi Relics is by spending a resource called Aya. Aya is something that you can get in basically any mission that can give you a relic. You can get a drop of Aya instead. These can be spent at Varsia's store in Maru's Bazaar in Mars to buy relics for vaulted Warframes that are currently being unvaulted in the Prime Resurgence event. Now this will only allow you to buy the Axi Relics that are currently unvaulted, so it's a very small selection. But Varsia sells relics of all rarities at a 1-to-1 exchange rate, meaning 1 Aya for 1 Lith Relic, and 1 Aya for 1 Axi Relic. So you could just run a mission that gives you Lith Relics, run it over and over and over again, get a couple of Ayas, and then go and trade those in for Axi Relics at Varsia Store. So long as you have an Axi Relic, you can join an Axi Relic Fisher, and then simply get lucky with the drops from the relics that other people are bringing to the mission. And finally, still, the best method for farming for Axi Relics in the entire game is the Disruption mission on Apollo in Lua. The reason why this mission is so good is because disruption missions do not follow the same AABC rotation that basically all other missions follow. They instead follow the rotation of AABC C C C C C C C C C C C. Once you have reached the C reward tier, it never rotates back to A, which means that the longer you stay in the mission, the more Axi Relics you will get, because you will only get rewards from the C tier over and over again forever until you extract. If you run with a good dedicated squad, you can go through these waves very quickly, letting you farm up to between 20 to 30 Axi Relics per hour. It really is quite unbeatable as far as efficiency goes. So once you are good enough and have good enough gear that you can actually run this mission, then this is going to be the spot you go to farm for Axi Relics. And there you have it, people. This is the list of the currently best methods of farming for Axi Relics, no matter what stage of the game you are at. I hope you found this guide useful, and with that I say thanks for watching, and I will see you again some other time for something completely different.